You wake up. You scroll. You tell yourself today will be different. It never is. Somewhere inside you, there are two people fighting for control. One wants discipline, silence, mastery. The other wants comfort, noise, distraction. And every single day, you watch the weaker one win. Have you noticed this in your own life? That the version of you who makes promises at midnight is never the version who wakes up at 5? This isn't weakness. It's a war you haven't been trained to fight. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet every morning he had to remind himself to simply get out of bed. If an emperor needed convincing, what makes you think you shouldn't? But here's what almost nobody realizes: the noise isn't outside you. It's inside you, dressed up as comfort. And until you silence it, you will keep losing to a version of yourself that doesn't even want to win. So the question isn't motivation. The question is, who is actually in control of your mind right now? You've read the books, watched the videos, written the plans, and still nothing changes. Why? Because you've been treating symptoms while ignoring the disease. The disease is this: you've built an identity around almost disciplined, almost consistent, almost the man or woman you were meant to become, and almost feels safe because it never demands full accountability. What if you've believed the wrong thing this entire time? What if the problem was never your schedule, your willpower, or your motivation, but the fact that you never trained your mind the way you train your body? Seneca once said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Look closer and you'll see it everywhere. The workout you dreaded became easy once you started. The conversation you feared became simple once you spoke. Your mind exaggerates the war before the war even begins. This is the hidden problem. You've been fighting imaginary battles while ignoring the real one happening in silence, inside your own head. Every excuse, every scroll, every tomorrow is a small surrender. And surrender, repeated daily, becomes identity. So ask yourself honestly, are you actually undisciplined? Or have you just never been taught how ancient warriors and sages actually built their minds? 20 centuries ago, a crippled slave named Epictetus owned nothing: no home, no freedom, no comfort. Yet he taught Roman elites how to master their minds. How? He understood one brutal truth: pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Meanwhile, Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man alive, whispered private notes to himself, not for the world, but to conquer his own weakness daily. These weren't men without struggle. They were men who refused to be ruled by it. Everything changes when you understand this. Stoicism was never about suppressing emotion. It was about mastering perception. The warrior trains the body to endure discomfort. The sage trains the mind to endure chaos. Combine both and you become nearly impossible to break. This is not ancient theory. This is the blueprint for becoming unstoppable in a world designed to keep you distracted, weak, and comfortable. And it begins with a lesson most people ignore their entire lives. Lesson 1. Silence is a weapon, not a punishment. Most people fear silence because it forces them to face their own thoughts. So they fill every gap with noise, music, scrolling, chatter, anything to avoid sitting alone with their mind. But warriors understood something different. In the quiet, before battle, the strongest soldiers weren't anxious. They were present. They breathed. They observed. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private reflections in silence, away from the noise of the empire, because he knew clarity cannot exist in chaos. Have you noticed how your best decisions rarely come while scrolling, but almost always come in stillness, in the shower, on a walk, right before sleep? That's not coincidence. That's your mind finally being allowed to think. When you remove noise, you remove the mask you've been hiding behind. And that's terrifying at first, because silence shows you exactly who you've become. But here's the shift: instead of running from that discomfort, sit inside it. Let it teach you. Every warrior who ever became legendary first learned to be alone with their own mind without flinching. So today, try this. 5 minutes of true silence, no phone, no noise. Just observation. Because before you conquer anything external, you must first survive facing yourself. Lesson 2. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Every time you avoid discomfort, you're voting for a weaker version of yourself. The cold shower you skip, the workout you cut short, the hard conversation you delay, each one shapes your identity more than you realize. Seneca deliberately practiced poverty while wealthy, sleeping on hard floors and eating simple food, not out of punishment, but preparation. He wanted to prove to himself that comfort could never own him. What if you did the same, not to suffer, but to prove to your own mind that you're no longer controlled by ease? This is where warriors are built, not in comfort, but in controlled resistance. Have you ever noticed how the version of you who pushes through discomfort feels more alive than the version who avoids it? That's your nervous system remembering strength it forgot it had. Every rep you don't skip, every early morning you don't snooze, every hard truth you don't avoid. These are small deposits into an identity that eventually becomes undeniable. This is also the reason we started this channel, to build minds that don't break under pressure. If that resonates with you, consider subscribing, because what comes next changes everything. Pause for a second. Read that back. Every lesson so far has been building toward one identity shift, from someone reacting to life to someone commanding it. But here's the truth most people never admit. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. If you've made it this far, you're not like most people scrolling mindlessly. You're searching for something real. So let me ask you in one word, what's the emotion you're feeling right now? Comment it below. Not for engagement, for reflection. Because naming what you feel is the first step to mastering it. And what comes next may be the most important lesson in this entire video, the one separating those who watch from those who transform. Lesson 3. Your reaction is the only battlefield that matters. You cannot control the traffic, the criticism, the failure, the betrayal. But you can control what you do in the next 4 seconds after it happens. Epictetus taught that events themselves are neutral. It's our judgment about them that creates suffering. Someone insults you. The insult is just sound. Your mind decides whether it becomes a wound. Have you noticed how two people can experience the exact same failure? One collapses, the other grows. The difference isn't circumstance. It's interpretation. But here's what almost nobody realizes. Every time you blame outside circumstances, you hand away your power. And every time you own your response, you reclaim it. This is not about suppressing emotion or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about refusing to let temporary pain dictate permanent identity. Imagine facing criticism, loss, or failure, and instead of spiraling, you pause, breathe, and ask, what can I actually control here? That single pause is the difference between reacting like prey and responding like a warrior. This is the discipline hidden inside Stoicism, not emotional numbness, but emotional command. And once you master this, external chaos stops controlling your internal peace. Lesson 4. Study like a sage means mastering your inputs, not just your outputs. Most people obsess over productivity hacks while ignoring the quality of what they consume daily. If you feed your mind chaos, arguments, gossip, meaningless content, don't be surprised when your thoughts feel chaotic too. Marcus Aurelius read philosophy not for entertainment, but for armor against a corrupt world surrounding him. What if your endless scrolling isn't relaxation, but slow erosion of your focus and identity? Everything changes when you understand this. Knowledge without reflection is just noise stored temporarily. True study isn't collecting information. It's extracting wisdom you actually apply. This is why journaling was central to Stoic practice, not to record events, but to interrogate your own thinking. Have you ever written down a problem, only to realize the solution was obvious once it left your head and hit the page? That's the power of structured reflection. A sage doesn't consume more, they process deeper. So instead of adding another book, another video, another course, ask yourself, what have I learned this month that I've actually applied? Because unstoppable people aren't the most informed, they're the most disciplined in turning knowledge into action. Now here's the lesson that ties everything together. Becoming unstoppable isn't a single decision. It's an identity you choose daily. You are not defined by yesterday's failures or tomorrow's uncertainty. You are defined by the next choice you make right now. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Stop debating your potential. Start proving it through action. Have you noticed how the moment you stop seeking permission to change, transformation actually begins? This is the shift from waiting to be motivated to becoming disciplined regardless of emotion. Warriors train even when they don't feel like it. Sages study even when distraction calls louder. Unstoppable people aren't fearless. They've simply decided fear no longer gets the final vote. Everything you learn today, silence, discomfort, response mastery, disciplined study, isn't separate advice. It's one identity quietly waiting for you to claim it. So tell me, in one sentence, what commitment are you making to yourself starting today? Write it in the comments, not for anyone else, but as a promise to the version of you that's tired of almost. Because the moment you commit, you stop being someone who tries and become someone who simply is. You didn't come this far by accident. Something inside you is done settling for almost. Done losing to distraction. Done waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. Today, that ends. Not because motivation suddenly appeared, but because you finally understand the war has always been internal. The noise was never your environment, it was your untrained mind. And now you know how to silence it. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, none of them were born unstoppable. They built it, moment by moment, choice by choice, exactly like you're doing right now. So stand up straighter. Breathe slower. Speak less, act more. Let silence build your discipline. Let discomfort build your strength. Let reflection build your wisdom. If this video shifted something inside you, subscribe, not for us, but for the version of you that's finally ready to evolve. Because from this moment forward, you're no longer the person who almost changed. You are the warrior who trained, the sage who studied, and the identity nothing can stop.